probably don't know this about me, but I am a little bit of a history nerd, so I am so excited to take you back to the early 1900s of Goodsprings, Nevada. So if you're thinking of moving to Las Vegas, there is so much more than just the Strip. And just about 30 to 45 minutes from Las Vegas is Goodsprings, Nevada. And like most towns in Nevada, Goodsprings got its start as a mining town. So if you didn't see my last video on Goodsprings, Nevada, here is a link for you. It was a bit more of an overview of the town as a whole, but I went down some rabbit holes doing some research on the history of this booming mine town. So come take a walk with me as I hit some of the historical highlights, show you some of the buildings that are still standing, and show you where things used to be. If you want to follow along, scan this QR code and you can go down the rabbit hole just like I did. I'm going to give you the highlights for today. So stop number 1 is Goodsprings School. Originally established in 1907, it was in a tent. And then in 1913, this building was built and still stands as the school today. And we just learned that there are only 2 kids currently enrolled in school and 2 teachers. Talk about a great one-on-one education. Stop number 2 is Yellow Pine Mill Cottage. This is a typical home that the Yellow Pine Mining Company built for its employees. Now, this is about 450 to 464 square feet. So just down this way is a private drive, so we're not going to venture back there, but stop number 3 is where the old Yellow Pine Mill site used to be. It was originally built in 1998, and a concentrator was added in 1910. A fire happened in 1929 and destroyed most of the mill buildings. Only the foundations are visible today. Stop number 4 is the general store's sites. Today, there is only the concrete foundation and 2 metal corrugated buildings that still stand here. Stop number 5 is Pioneer Saloon and the general store. Original buildings from the Sears and Roebuck's catalog in 1913. There's so much history in these buildings alone, and you can still see the tin printed walls and roof original from when they were built. Imagine sitting here in the 1900s and there being a Wild West fight or bullets flying past your head, which you can still see the bullet holes in the wall to this day. So much has happened inside of these walls, including Clark Gable holding up here for 3 days, waiting to see if Carol Lombard survived her plane crash over the Potosi Mountains in 1942. The Pioneer Saloon has been featured in movies like Miss Congeniality 2, The Mexican, and Fear and Loathing Las Vegas, as well as, for you video game fans, Fallout New Vegas, where Goodsprings is actually the site where the video game is based on. Stop number 6 is the Fayle Hotel. The Fayle Hotel was originally located right behind me and built in 1916 by George Fayle. It was considered the classiest hotel in all of Clark County. The hotel had 20 guest rooms, electric lights, hot and cold running water, steam heat, and a restaurant that boasted fine dining. Advertised as the finest hotel in the West, it was initially so successful, Las Vegas residents would make the trip to Goodsprings to enjoy the hospitality. However, it eventually would find financial failure and burned down for the second time in 1966. Number 7 is the Business District. Across Spring Street from where the Goodsprings Hotel used to be is where the Business District was. You would have had shops like Buckley's Men's Clothing Store, Quinn's Ice Cream Parlor, the barber shop, post office, and the original Goodsprings Hotel. Number 8, the post office. This shotgun-style cabin house is where the post office was located between 1930s and 1950s. It now has been relocated just east of the schoolhouse. Number 9, Goodsprings Site. Originally, the site was used by Anasazi and Paiute Indians. It sustained the first mule train that pioneered the pack route, later known as the Old Spanish Trail, between Santa Fe and Los Angeles. The site was later renamed Goods Spring after Joseph Good, a miner and cattleman, started developing the area. It was later changed from Goods Spring to Goodspring. Number 10, Cottonwood Cabin. The cabin planted at the cottonwood tree has been used as a logo for Goodsprings for many years. The cottonwood tree was probably planted by Joseph Good or another early settler in the 1800s. Stop 11 was the Schwartz Mercantile. The building on the site originally housed the office of Jensen and Crampton. surveyors and assessors, and Justice of the Peace Phil Springer. Otto Schwartz bought the property in 1920 and established the Schwartz Mercantile, which operated until 1934. Stop number 12 is the clubhouse from 1942, or where it used to sit, and State Historical Marker 102. The building behind me was brought here in 1950. It was an Army barracks and was brought from the Tonopah Air Base. They do still open it up for special occasions and certain holidays. Now, if you were to Google this and look at the reviews, there are some wild reviews for the State Historical Marker 102. It's talking about RoboCops being resurrected from the dead and a man in a checkered suit. What the heck are they talking about? Well, this is a very popular site for the video game Fallout New Vegas. Goodsprings is where the video game origin was, and it takes a lot of the historic sites and puts them in the video game. If you're lucky enough, you might even find Easy Pete from the video game when you come visit. Number 13 is Campbell's Stone Cabin and Miners' Cabins. These are typical cabins that would have been found all over Nevada during the mining boom and in mining towns. And they are some of the oldest buildings here. The cabins that are not made of stone, one is made of corrugated metal and the other is of wood planking. Number 14 is the community church. A minister from Las Vegas now visits for services, and before this was here, services were held in private homes. Number 15 is the Robbins family home. Across from the church, the Robbins brothers were Utah sheep farmers that moved here in 1905 and turned to mining. The last of the Robbins family lived in Goodsprings until 1980. Number 16 is the Coyote Den. Coyote Den moved this building here in 1990 and restored it. It was the original, as they say, ye old post office, and is now the Goodsprings Historical Society Museum. But who is Coyote Den? Well, his real name is Dwayne Collins, and he was a lover of the desert, history, cowboys, everything historical, and he is a huge part of the preservation of what is still here today. Number 17, the Wasserbach Home. This home, originally framed, has now been stuccoed over and was purchased from John Frederickson in 1936 by Winona Wasserbach, a poet from Chicago. Her husband, Carl Wasserbach, owned the Pioneer Saloon at one point, and his brother, Ed Wasserbach, owned the Coca-Cola bottling company in Las Vegas. Number 18 is the Piehl House. Now, this is a private residence, so definitely no trespassing here. This bungalow with its pillared porch was once occupied by mining engineer Fred Piehl in 1917. The original fireplace was made entirely from ore specimens, and it's currently owned by Goodsprings advocates who preserve the Goodsprings Cemetery and the school. Number 19, the Munzebrock Cabin. So the location behind me is where the cabin would have stood, and it was originally Albert Munzebrock, the postmaster's cabin. It was a rare two-story example of board and batten cabin in the 1930s. In front of this cabin, on the same lot, is a house that served as the Goodsprings Lending Library in the 1960s. Number 20, the McClanahan Home. Two old miners' cabins were joined together to make this house. In the 1920s, William McClanahan added a miniature kitchen inside for his 4'8" tall wife. McClanahan was a member of the pioneer family of Goodsprings, and the 1940s school teacher Edmund Fleming and his family made this their home. Number 21 is the Feaster House. Dick Feaster owned the 93 Mine Group in 1914. As we come around the corner here, you can see just how small this house was. I don't know if any of us could imagine living like this now, but it's so great to see back in time and what life really used to be like. Number 22, the Frederickson Adobe. This originally was a core 6-room adobe with wraparound porches in the front that have now been converted to living space. The walls are made of poured adobe mixed with weather-resistant additive and poured into molds made of 12-inch planks. Originally built in 1950, stucco and red sandstone blocks have now been added to the structure and is still a personal home to this day. Last but not least, number 23 is the cemetery. Please do respect the people that are buried here that once built and lived in this place. On the Walking Tour website, there's an outline of the graves to see how they are organized, with some still being unmarked graves to this day. Thanks so much for taking a day trip and walking the historic Goodsprings, Nevada with me. I hope that you learned a lot just like I did. Now, if you're thinking about moving to Las Vegas, schedule your free consultation so we can show you just how easy and stress-free we can help you make it. My name's Kathryn, I'm extension 6, and all of my information is below. I'll see you in the next video.